Hello! In today's lesson, we'll create two links here at the top of the page. Those links will make it easier for the users to access their account, for them to log out of the site more easily, and if they don't have an account on the site yet, for them to be able to register. First, we're going to create a div here before the cart. And what's the idea here? Well, we want to create a kind of menu here, but a very simple menu. At the most, it will have two items. If the user is logged into the site, they will have the items My Account and Log Out, which is for them to access their account and leave the site. And if they are not logged in, we will show a menu link that allows them to log in or register. And we will use a part of the Bootstrap menu structure to speed up the creation of the menu. So using some Bootstrap classes, we don't have to worry about the CSS needed to get the menu in place. The first thing we're going to do is pass a class called navbar-expand to this first div. This class uses Flexbox to position the menu items side by side. Let's open a UL element here and pass two Bootstrap classes. The first is navbar-nav, which is the default class of the Bootstrap UL element. And the second is float-left, which will make our menu items float to the left. We're gonna open the li element here. I'm not going to pass any class here. And within the first li, I'll create a link to the user account. This link will have the nav-link class, also from Bootstrap, nav-link, and we'll type the link text, My Account. Okay, if you look at the theme now, we already got here the text for the first link. Now, how do we get the link's URL? Let's go back to the code. And let's open the href attribute here. We need the link from the user account page. We could just go like this, my-account. But the problem with this is that the owner of the site can, for example, for one reason or another, change the slug of the page or create a different page for the user account. To keep us from showing the wrong page, we do an echo and call the getPermalink function. We call a second function named get_option. And pass the argument WooCommerce _ my account _ page _ ID. This will let us get the page by its ID, and that ID will always be the page ID defined in the WooCommerce settings as the account page. So even if the site owner changes the page, the theme will always be able to identify and bring up the right page. Okay? To make it all more secure, since it's a link, we're going to include all of this here within a WordPress sanitizing function called ask_URL. Later in the course, I'll talk in detail about these functions that make the theme more safe. Now if you reload the page, we have the link to the account page, and it's working perfectly. Great. So let's create the second link. Let's just copy this first li here to save us some time. Let's type in here, logout. Now the logout link is a little different. Let's leave this ask_URL where it is and delete the rest. let's call a function here named wp underscore logout underscore URL. This function creates a link that automatically logs the user out of the site. If we simply call it, it will work perfectly. However, it will take the user to the default WordPress login page. So we can pass a parameter to this function, which is the page to which the user will go when they are logged out. So for example, we can pass the link to the account page. This is an interesting way out because if the user is not logged in, this page will automatically show them a login form. We already know how to get the URL for the account page. So just copy this piece of code here. Let's count the number of parentheses so we don't get lost here. 1, 2, and let's go to the end of the second parenthesis. This is very helpful. And let's paste that here inside this WP logout URL function. Now let's see if it works. Excellent. And by clicking here, I can log out. And I see the account page, but only with the login form. Well, but there's still one thing wrong here. I just left the site, but I'm still seeing up here the links to the account and logout. The correct is that this only shows up if the user is logged in. And when he or she logs out, a different link appears which will allow him or her to log in again. We can easily solve this by placing all menu items inside a validation block. This block will have to be able to check whether or not the user is logged in. For this, we'll open an if block up here. And we're gonna close it out here at the end of the menu items. Here inside the if parenthesis, let's call the isUserLoggedIn function. This function, like most functions that start with the word is, will return true or false. If it returns true, it will show the menu items. Otherwise, we're gonna do something else. By the way, we're gonna do that check. Let's add an else here. And we'll pass this same link here, which will take the user to the account page as well. But let's write in here login/register. Now let's get to the tests. Now, as we're not longer logged in, what we see is this link. If I click here, I can log in, or if I'm not registered on the site, I can register. But where's the option to register? I don't see anything here. Look, this is an option that has nothing to do with the theme itself. The site's owner is the one that must decide if the site is going to accept new user registration. I'll show you where this needs to be changed, okay? Let's go over to WooCommerce, Settings, Accounts and Privacy Settings, and they should enable this setting here if they want the site to accept new user registration. This can also be enabled on the checkout page if you want, okay? Let's check it and save it. Let's see if any registration form comes up. Now, logging off the site, I have the links to register or log in again. Great. Let's try to do the registration to see if it works. I'm gonna sign up with the new email. And now I got a new user account. Now to wrap up, as this whole area here should only appear if the WooCommerce plugin is active on the site, we have to do that validation. Let's check if the WooCommerce class exists. Let's start the validation here on the account div. If class exists WooCommerce, and finish with an end div at the end of the div. Okay, that's it for now. So I'll say goodbye and I'll see you in the next lesson. Until then.